If you're in that moment with something where it's so difficult that you want to stop doing it, don't give up. Since I was really young, I felt this need to create things, this pull. Long before anybody was ever looking at anything that I did, or long before I was even thinking about people wanting to see anything that I did, I wanted to create things. What I've noticed along that way is there are times when it gets really difficult and I want to give up. This is for the people who are in that moment right now. If you're in that moment with something where it's so difficult that you want to stop doing it, don't give up. Anything that is worth learning is going to get difficult. When we start new things, when I start new things, I'm super excited about it. It's really easy to get excited about a new idea or a new project or a new art style or a new song or whatever it is. But eventually you're going to get to a point where it's really hard. The little moments are fewer and far between. The little epiphanies are fewer and far between, and you're going to feel like you plateaued or might even feel like you're getting worse. I'm here to tell you that this is the moment where you know you're about to move from being good at something to being great at it. This is the feeling of almost. And trust me when I tell you that it is worth pushing through. I am a very small channel, but as an artist, I'm in a really good place. I'm in probably the best place that I've ever been in my entire life of creating anything. I'm back to that point of being a kid where I'm creating things because I want to create things. I'm not creating things with an expectation. I'm not creating things for a specific audience. And I know you're going to see a lot of videos out there that is like, if you want to be successful at this thing, niche down and think about your audience. And I'm not saying that that's a bad idea, but I would challenge you to question at what cost. Because if you're only creating for other people, it's really easy to lose yourself in that process. And it's really easy to just not care about the thing. The further you distance you as a person from the thing that you're creating, especially in something like this or music or anything that is truly artistic, and truly artistic is that's a weird thing because I could go down a whole nother rabbit hole about what is or isn't artistic. And trust me when I say it is not black or white. So maybe those aren't the words that I want, but when you're doing something that expresses you or showcases you as a human, be as authentically you as you possibly can. And don't compromise your vision. Now, that doesn't mean to never finish stuff, because not compromising your vision, the problem is you can get scope creep and your vision will change along the way. And so it is important to finish things. What's the quote? It's like, art is never finished, it's simply abandoned. I don't know whose quote that is. It's something along those lines. Because as artists, we're always seeing how we can improve. How could this be better? And the simple act of finishing things is huge. Now, I say that as somebody who was creating weekly content and putting things out there, and I did grow. As an artist for my craft, I grew exponentially. You can't tell, I have a very small channel, but as an artist, I grew exponentially. I got way better at my thing because I forced myself to do weekly videos. But by the end of it, I was exhausted. I was done. There was a moment where I was like, do I want to keep making videos? So I just took a break. And I had that pull still. I still had that like want to create videos, which tells me a lot about me and my creative process, because the channel didn't go in the direction that I had thought, which if we break that down, that could be a whole nother video as well. But if we break that down in the simplest form, that's on me. I put an expectation on content that I was creating, on my art. I put an expectation that was unrealistic rather than just enjoying the process. So really this video is just to put it out there. If you are at that point in whatever it is you're working on where you are just hitting that wall, now's the time to focus in on your discipline. You don't have to do it hard. It doesn't have to be like an hour. It doesn't have to be 15 minutes a day. Set aside 15 minutes a day to work on the thing. Even if you sit down for 15 minutes and just stare at it and think about it and contemplate it and you don't get anything done, that is better than not thinking about it, because eventually something will click and you will get over that. It will happen. It happened with my last video. I got to a point where like I didn't know what B-roll I wanted to use. I didn't know how I was going to proceed visually. I felt stuck. And I would sit down with it and I would rewatch what I had and just sit down and rewatch and think about music and think about other things. Or I had already skipped through and did all the stuff that I thought I could do. And it was just that one point. And then it clicked. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to make the assets that I want. The things that I can't find, I'm going to make. And yeah, it's going to be more work, but it was worth it. That pushed me over to a new level, which of course I'm going to hit another plateau, but that's kind of what's great about learning difficult things. If you stop plateauing, if you stop hitting points where you feel like it's difficult or you have to learn new things, then you're probably not growing as a person or an artist. Those are the moments where you have the most potential for growth. I don't know you, but as a person who is incredibly deeply drawn to create things, I can tell you that I'm happier when I'm creating. Whether or not anybody sees that, whether or not it's the thing that I hoped it was, or whatever, remove all expectations from the thing. When I'm creating, I'm happiest, period. And if that resonates with you at all, keep going. Take the time to do the thing that makes you happy, whatever that is. I have no idea where I'm going with this. This was a shower thought. And I'm feeling grateful and I wanted to give back. I don't know who's going to see this or if anybody's going to see this, but just know that I appreciate you and I appreciate your struggle. I appreciate you pushing. And whether you tell me or not, I love to think that maybe one person sees this and they're like, yes, I'm going to keep pushing. It will be worth it. Trust me, it will be worth it. I had this moment in jiu-jitsu. I started jiu-jitsu back in 2016. When I became a blue belt, it was like exciting. Yay, I got my blue belt, but I felt like I didn't know anything. It was very confusing to me. Like, how did I end up with this belt? Because I didn't feel like I was necessarily better at jiu-jitsu. It turns out it's really difficult to gauge whether or not you're getting better at a thing when everybody around you is getting better together. What is it? Rising tide lifts all boats. It's something along that line. And so it was very difficult. And then new people started to come to the gym and I was like, wait, maybe I'm catching on to this. But I would still have these peaks and valleys and moments where I was like, just wanted to give up. And then I got my purple belt and it happened again. Like, why do I have this purple belt? What's going on? I'm getting smashed by people. I'm getting smashed by people half my age, half my size sometimes. Like, and then new things started to click. And now I have my brown belt currently in jiu-jitsu. And I feel like technically I know things, right? But I do feel like there's a point where anytime you learn something very deeply, you'll get to a point where you don't know what you don't know, but you're now more aware of what you don't know. You're more aware of your deficits because you know more things. And that could be very difficult. That's kind of a turning point where do you focus on your holes in your game? Do you focus on correcting and directly addressing the things that you are not very good at? Or do you get frustrated and give up? Those are two very polar opposite options, but I've seen both happen. I don't know where I'm going with this. Shower thoughts. I appreciate you. Dude, I don't even know how it's going to sound. Hopefully it doesn't sound like doo-doo. Maybe I'll edit out. Maybe I'll fix the sound. I don't know. Rambles. Bye.